Hello again, everybody. This is Michael, KE4EST. And this one here, we're going to have a look at this HeathKit audio generator here. This is a model IG-72 that I've recently acquired. And the guy said it worked. Actually, he had it plugged up and said, "Look, it's working," and showed it to me. And I was like, "Okay, great." Shut it off. Didn't say it kind of like that, but I was like, okay, good, I'll take it. The price was right. A few bucks. Because, one of if the capacitor goes bad or something in it, whatever, it can hurt things, and people don't realize that. So I said, okay, that's great, good, but let's shut her off and I'll take it home. So I've not plugged it up or anything since I've got it home. It's pretty good condition, as you can see on the front here, so maybe it'll be a good match to the laboratory generator you've seen in a previous video. That this will be able to take me all the way down to, I guess, presumably, it should go down to 1 hertz. We'll see about that, but anyway, it'll come down a lot lower, and it goes up to 100 kilohertz, so or 100 kilocycles, so that'll be good. And then it'll match up because the other one picks up at around 100 kilocycles. So anything I need it for, just audio stuff down in the human hearing range, or anything above that, I'll have something that'll do it. So I've already pulled the case off the back, took the screws out, but we'll flip it over and look at the bottom of it together. One thing that you can see here, let's see if you can see that. See how that needle's moving? I rub my hand across it there. There it come way up. This here, I did look at this a little bit. This here's set right. What's going on here? See that? There's static up inside this. It's glass. It's common for these to do that. You can take this off very carefully. There's a little clip where it clips in around it. Take this off, and you can take, like a dryer sheet and just run it up in there and take all the static out and carefully put it back on. They'll take care of it for a long time, unless you in a very staticky environment, you rub your feet across the carpet or something, come across and do that. I can't get to do it now, but anyway, so that'll be easy fix there. So let's turn it around and have a look at it. Got the line cord tangled up over here on something. And pay no attention to stuff in the background. That's some other project I'm working on, and got it set at 10 megahertz, and it's actually holding pretty good. I've had it set there for a few hours. But anyway, turn this around, and here's the you can't see them, but here's the screws. There's only 2 screws in the back there. Oops. Put this back on this. There's only 2 screws in the back, here, and here, and then the case it slides off. So let's bring it up here and have a look at it here. This has got some surface rust on it, but not too bad. Get some more light here on this. I get too much light and get the glare, but that won't be too bad to clean up, or could possibly even leave it. Should be okay. I mean, I seen it working, but I just want to get these capacitors, like this can right here. And again, like I did before, this can right here, what I'll probably do is on the bottom side I'll replace it. There's 2 in that, probably. Looks like 2. It's a little bit loose too, look at that. I'll secure that, but I'll replace the capacitors and just put them on the bottom somehow, make it neat, and just completely cut this loose and just leave it in there for looks. And there's some capacitors up here on the multiplier. Now these here, light around. These micro capacitors will be fine. I'll leave those, but these here, they're probably going to be fine. A lot of these are, but, and you know, it's not got a whole lot of voltage right in here. But I'm going to replace them anyway. These will get changed out there. So there's 1, 2, 3 there that'll change out, and this. Now let's look at the bottom of it and see what's going on. Let me reposition the camera and I'll be right back. Alright, here we go. Let's go right to this first here. This I can see, it's interesting to see when you're looking at something like this, to see, you know, does it look like it's factory? Of course, a lot of these were, you know, hand built. These were kits, and some of them were factory. This one, well, I'll get the case over there, but going by the case, it looks like this was a factory job originally, because they, you know, you could buy these ready to go, or you could get the kit and build it yourself, you know, for a lot lower cost. This, its power resistor here is what, 20 watt resistor, 5 kilo ohm. Has been changed out. That's not original. It don't look original to the piece, and I can see where there's newer solder joints. You can tell by looking at the solder joints and see that this here has been changed out. So what I'm going to do most likely, in fact I am, I'm going to change this out again, because these do get hot. There's another couple of videos on YouTube. There's actually a video of the guy's got exactly this exact one that he did a series on of repairing it, and he had a problem with this too. So I'm going to do what he did. I'm going to get a power resistor. Let me see, like this here. Get in the camera here, and this is a 50 watt. And I'm going to take that and I'll bolt it to the back here for heat sinking. Then I'll wire it in nice and neatly. That way I won't really have to worry about this at all anymore. This resistor here is a nicer resistor than what's in there originally. And probably be fine, but all that heat that's going to get on things, and it'll cause values to change and stuff like that, not make it as stable. Of course, we know this is a tube. It's not going to be as stable as a, you know, state-of-the-art something that comes out these days, but we want to make it as stable as we can. So that I will modify. These, well, let's see. Resistors look like Allen Bradley. Well, there's a couple of them in here that's rounded off, so I have to check those. And then we come down here, and this capacitor here will definitely have to go. A lot of these, you know, I don't even check. Some of them I do. Like the ones that was on the multiplier up here I showed you previously. If I want to keep that there in a project, you know, or whatever, I'll check them for leakage. But if, you know, most of the time though, they got to go, you know. That's got to go. And as you can see here, somebody has already went in here and changed out a capacitor. That's a newer capacitor there. It goes over here, and they've got, I don't know, kind of goofy. They put heat shrink on here to, I guess they must have a Yeah, it feels like they got like a junction in there. This, because capacitor leads ain't gonna be much about as long as where that little crease is there. And then they've, let's see if we can get that up here where this clear looking wire is with a clear insulation comes down. They've tied, I don't know, they got something strange going on there. And okay, that Dave, the one that did that, I guess Dave put this on this. Oh, put it in there and see it. Okay, so I'll just take that out too and redo that, because it looks like, until you can probably get the camera on it, you can see they went in and used the soldering iron to try to shrink this heat shrink and got solder all over it. I mean, that's ugly. I don't know, probably just somebody trying to, and they didn't care what it looked like. But, and yeah, you put this stuff in the case, and as long as everything's got the proper connections and whatever, yeah, it's going to work. But I don't know, I just like to make it look pretty, so we'll get rid of that. And let's see, and here is the see that, yeah, right here's that can, and yeah, it's got two capacitors are in it there. I'll replace those and mount them in here somehow. And there's some room right here I can mount them and completely clip that off. I'll leave this here, but you can see from here that how wiggly that is. I'll go up here at the top and wiggle it. I'll try to make that a little more stable, because it's not really that big a deal, except for if something gets moved around, it causes, staticky noise, especially if you're using this audio generator and you're down trying to check something or feed an audio signal into an amplifier or something, and you hear, the staticky sound. Is it this, or is it the device you're working on? So I'll just clean that up. This here is that bakelite, but at the top it's metal against metal. So, and then I'll check the light bulb, which is probably fine. This is in here. This is a Wien-Bridge, or is it Wien-Bridge? A Wien-Bridge? Wien-Bridge oscillator. You can tell right away what that is by seeing that light bulb in there. This don't glow. If this is glowing really big, then there's something wrong. This don't even glow, or maybe if you look at it real close, you might see it barely little when it's operating. Barely see the filament, glowing orange, just barely. But if it's designed right, they shouldn't really glow a whole lot at all. That's pretty much it. Clean it up, and like this here, looks like something was spilled on it. Let's back this up a little bit. So I don't know what's going on there, but try to clean that up best I can. I mean, to do this completely properly right, you have to take all this off. Take all this out. And a lot of times you can leave a lot of this point-to-point stuff together. You'd have to take apart whether you're not going up this capacitor and stuff like that. But take this off, take these out. Take the knobs off here and pull these out. You can take this whole mess in one big wad and just set it down somewhere. Of course, you have to get the transformer out of there and things like that, but you can take that out and then take this loose, and let's see, so we've got rivets up here. This is riveted, so you could either re-rivet it, or you can just put some screws back, drill those rivets out and put a bolt through it. To get it pretty. But I don't know if I'm gonna go through all that, but I'll try to clean it best I can. And so, okay, let's look at this tube here is 6CL6, and then this one here is your 6AU5, and these kind of work together as an oscillator with the light bulb over here. And that's how that works. This here is, briefly how it works. That didn't tell me nothing, but this, you know, I mean, it's just a simple audio oscillator, audio generator. So these two tubes, this is probably has a cathode follower, and it's kind of like a you know, it's a wing bridge, kind of a regenerative feedback. They'll, you know, go through the tungsten filament on the light bulb under there, and then back to the cathode of this tube. So, and then here's your 6x4, which is just your rectifier tube, which comes, you know, high voltage comes in through this. Then here's your filter capacitor, or two filter capacitors here. Like I said, I'll change out. The line cord looks pretty good, and I mean, it looks older. But it's pretty good shape. I can't tell. Well, let's see. Yeah, them are new solder joints, or newer solder joints. So yeah, at some point somebody's probably replaced this line cord. So I'll probably leave the line cord. I'll check it out really good and probably leave that. This fuse, I don't know yet what I'm going to do about this fuse. Apparently it works, or, you know, still working, but I don't know if I'll leave that or do something different about that. Probably a really low wattage fuse. Let me look. This fuse is a 3/4 amp fuse, so I didn't think it'd be very big. But anyway, that's an interesting way to do that. But I guess it saves money, and especially in a kit form or something when they're making something for a kit, not have to have something coming, a fuse holder, you know, through the back or something. But probably, yeah, I don't see them there. And no, not on the schematic either. No. I'll probably add safety capacitors to this. Just, you know, they're not using the chassis as ground on this, you know, like, say, an All-American 5 radio or something, but I'll probably add them anyway. But that's that. Let me, now, hang on and we'll have a look at the schematic. Okay, maybe you can see the schematic here. Probably should just do this on the computer. It's kind of hard to see it here, but I've already, you can see I already went through to make sure I had the capacitors I needed. I marked which ones I was going to change out. And then, where is, okay. This shows a simplified, this is the notch filter right here. And you see it's a simplified, you know, notch filter circuit. It's got the dotted lines around it because that's this here. And there is a couple, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here's these 3 here. It's on that multiplier switch that you can see there. And then here's the other 2. That's on the bottom, and one of them's gotten replaced already. And then there's a couple more coming off the tube here. These 2 tubes. And then here's the ones in the power supply. So you can see how this 6x4 works here. It comes off. It's rectified. 420 volts. Okay, wow, that's higher than I thought it'd be. And then it comes into here. Well, they get them capacitors real close, don't they? 450 volt capacitors. I bet the RMS or not the RMS, but the but the peak's going to be higher than that. That's interesting. I'll have to check that out. So definitely I'll change these out with probably 600 volt. That of course feeds your high voltage to your oscillator section here. And let's see, cathode, yep, cathode follower coming across. And yeah, I glanced at this before, but I was just looking, I didn't really look at the circuit design. Oscillator control, that's internal. Yep, comes right back to the cathode of the 686. Okay. And that's, those two controls are right here. And one's just a meter control to calibrate your meter. And then the other's to calibrate the oscillator. And another thing while I'm here, you see there's this here. Got the black around it to keep it from, you know, going out. There's a little light in there, a little lamp in there too that comes out on the top of the meter here to light the meter, which is a neat little thing I guess they added on there. But there you have it. I'm going to go through this, get it cleaned up, change out the capacitors, check the tubes, check some of the resistors that don't look like Allen Bradley. If it's Allen Bradley, I just leave it alone, you know, and then go from there, and then do some checks. And then if it don't, something don't check out, then I'll go from there, checking out the resistors and seeing what's wrong. And well, that's a little bit loose too there. But anyway, there's that. And when I come back in the next video, we'll go through what I did to it and hook it up to the oscilloscope or frequency counter and check it out. Until that video, say 73, this is Michael, K4EST.